Okay. So we're on page Kupman Daled. I don't know if I should say still or already. And we are down approximately 8 lines. The line begins with the word peulah. So we are elaborating further on the principle of pnimi and makif. And we already said a statement that really is so profound that really requires insight, that oil makif comes forth in an AYIN manner. As we discussed it, and this is very important for us to learn to relate to, its presence is there, it has an effect. But it has an effect, and its presence is, it's revealed into reality itself. It does not preclude any kind of activity that you choose to do. Except that it gives you the sense that any activity you do, you're within a certain context, a certain reality. That automatically lifts you to a sensation, to a sensing that there is something significant going on. This is the Or Makif. We had all kinds of Meshorim on this, and we're not going to repeat that. So I said we're going to start the line that begins with the word peulah. At the end of that line is in the middle of what we already discussed. The Oil Makif. The Oil Makif, who nimtza bibchinas ayin. Nimtza. It is a presence. But how do you define this presence? You define this presence as ayin. And the Rebbe elaborates on this. Okay, and here we need, as I said, the Behine, our own God-given intelligence. Not intelligence that we discern by worldly experience, but intelligence that comes as part and parcel of the neshama. Bechinas ayin. Lefi, because shein inyon in lifoil, because the oil makiv does not have the element, its aim, in other words, is defining, and its presence is in order to lifoil, in order to create something. Kim, rather, what then is the principle of this ayin? Of the same makiv, who bibchinas gilui min ha'eltem. The Or Makiv is bibchinas, comes in this form of self-identifying. It's identifying itself as what? As gilui min ha'eltem, as something which is revealing a revelation from the Etz. Revelation from the Etzem. Okay, it's now it behooves us to think, what does this mean, a revelation from the Etzem? What's so special about it? Lifoil, if it comes to lifoil to create something, to make a point, that means that this point is not there prior to it making the point. And if it is not there prior to it making the point, it has to have a basis. It has to substantiate itself. Here is my point, and here's the basis of it. Etzem does not have to explain itself. Etzem does not have to substantiate where do I come from. Like the Rambam says, and we mentioned all the time, Etzem is the name for Motzoi Rishon. Motzoi Rishon means a presence that does not have any precedent for it. This is the first being. It is virtually impossible, it's not virtually, it's impossible for us to conceptualize it, because all conceptualization has a state where I don't have it, and I come into being. If you don't have it, then you cannot, there's nothing to come to know it. How then are we presented with this truth? The union from AYIN. A gilui minho etzem, a gilui that is exclusively represented, it's there because the etzem is there, because the motivation is there. It is being presented and it is being challenged to us that we should relate to it not as human beings in the world, but we should relate to it as an neshama coming from God Himself. The reality that the Rebbe has put into us. This is how we know it. Gilui minho etzem. This is the reality. We do not have any proof for it. We do not need any proof for it. This is beyond proof. Motivation is the reality itself. This is gilui minho etzem. It's a gilui that is representative of etzem. Etzem, we said many times, there are no words, there are no means by which one can bring etzem to one's thought process. Etzem is not a thought process. Etzem is the truth known only to the neshama. Just like life, we cannot, as much as it will try, and as much as the world tries to fool itself, there is absolutely no way that you can explain life in worldly terms. It is not a worldly presence. It's a direct attestation that the world is a divine creation. Etzem is known from that level, from that perspective. Oil Maki is a gilui minho etzem. It's a gilui. A gilui means it's a revelation. It sort of makes a statement, but the statement is based on the etzem, not on any worldly experience. This is why the Soil Makiv is Nimtza, has a presence of AYIN, a presence without self-identity. And as we said, this AYIN is what provides the sense that there is meaning and significance and value in everything that exists. This AYIN is not emptiness and nothingness. To
remain on this call, press 1.
No. Oh, this is not my thing. Just in case, I'm going to give you more. Okay. 1.
Returning to the conference room.
This AYIN provides for the sense that whatever comes up in worldly existence has a basis. It is not something that comes from absolute nothingness. If it were nothingness, there would be nothing. Nothing comes from nothingness. The best illustration of that principle is from ourselves. Sometimes we are totally unaware of anything that's going up on in our thought, in our mind. See, I'm not thinking about anything. All of a sudden I come to some kind of a conclusion. Oh, here's what I'm going to do. This conclusion, here's what I'm going to do, does not come from nothingness. You're within reality, but you were not really focused on you. You did not identify with it as a tangible mitzvahs. But in fact, a person is never in nothingness. Witness the fact that he goes to sleep. Is he then in nothingness? No, he's got these dreams all the time. All the time. This is called the AYIN, that is nimshach min ha'etzem. Because this etzem reality, God forbid if one would lose sense of the etzem reality, literally the neshama is what's called kavakela, is in an emptiness that the neshama cannot relate to. With Nebish's help, nobody should ever be thrown into that kind of nothingness. There is no such thing. This is AYIN. And this AYIN provides the basis that, yes, there's an etzem, it comes from the etzem. This is what the Rambam says. Yisoid ha-yisoides amud ha-chochmas. The foundation of all foundations and the principle of chochmah is to know that there is a motivation. Anything that you discover, anything that you contrive, is authored and justified and provided for by the motivation. Sometimes you see something, you say, I have no idea where it came from. How can I explain it? Not a kasha. Everything has a motivation quality to it. It is the motivation that provides being for everything that exists. Therefore, if you see something you can't explain where it comes from, that's not really such a great protest. All right.
And where was this taken from? Where was this solution Neveah? It's from the nefesh, or it's from the machshava?
No, has from the nefesh.
Nefesh.
Of course.
So the nefesh is so what's the kriya and the levusha nefesh? The levusha nefesh, or
this is before nevushah. Nevushah is when you become aware of it. But life itself, we explained the other day that AYIN means that the source of it hides away and makes itself unobtrusive, unknown. You do somebody a favor, altruistically. You know what that means, altruistically?
I think without any self-interest.
Without any secondary thought. Not because you want to do good things, not because you want to get recognized, not because you want him to recognize you. Nothing. You do somebody a favor because the motivation. This is the motivation did a favor to create the world. So you're emulating the motivation. When you do something a favor, you say the Rebbe has provided me here to do you this favor. It's not even my choice. If you do somebody a favor from that perspective, I was put here at the time when I saw you in this distress, and I understood what to do. I'm not wise otherwise, and I came through, this has nothing to do with me at all, with my mitzias. This is the reality of the motivation, because the world is a divine creation, and therefore there is reality going through. How many times, you're a driver, right? How many times did you drive and pass a car and say, oh wow, just missed him. Wow, what a miracle. It is a miracle. There are many different aspects of a miracle. There's a miracle that is clearly contrived under the circumstances and you being directed one way or the other. Then there's another miracle, an ongoing miracle. The world is created so that things should happen, and it should survive all kinds of different moments, different challenges. Part of the reality of the world is that the person will not collide with another person. Everybody has his place. This is the AYIN. Okay. Enough.
Very important.
You're discovering America.
Also with walking, not just driving.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
Excuse me, why is there food on the table?
Okay, let's continue. The line begins in non life. In the middle of that line, V'zehu hamuvon. The yin and that the ayin is gilu min ha'etzem. V'zehu hamuvon. This is what can be understood. Mehamoshol the oil v'shefa. We are now in a different terminology. It's called oil makif and oil pnimi. And we define the difference between oil makif and oil pnimi. And it says this inyan that we are now defined is that this is what we understood originally from oil and shefa. Namely, oil makif is oil, and shefa and the pnimi is shefa. Even though both are really oil from Etz. The shefa who pertains to bedobor and such a thing, shehu b'bchinas mahus ha'mitzias. Shefa is possible, and shefa is the effect of something that is b'bchinas mahus ha'mitzias. B'bchinas mahus ha'mitzias, it is in that identity. Please understand, there
To
is...
remain on this call, press 1.
Oh, this is me, right? Everything, Gashmis and Ruchnis, the most tangible and the lowest of all entities, and the highest of everything, is all rooted and comes from Atzmus Holocaust. And therefore, in fact, as we said the other day, everything is oyer. It's oyer von Atzmus. Except oyer von Atzmus comes in different, oyer von Atzmus ultimately affects different results. Sometimes the result is an oyer, sometimes it is a shafa in the form of mitzias. Using the situation that we just now discussed, as you're driving, and you see your way straight, your path straight, open road. You have absolutely no concerns that you're going to be hitting anything. There's nothing there. Then you have open, it's your right of way and it's open road. The similar situation, but you're in heavy traffic. Heavy traffic also allows for avoiding collision. But now you avoid collision by an intent of not to collide. It is not, you cannot drive, so to speak, straight blindly. You have to be aware all the time, every second. If you look away for 1 second, you don't know what the result is going to be. Although, there's always a provision for you to turn to avoid the collision. There's hardly ever a collision that could not be avoided. So there is the AYIN that says, yes, there is an open, there is provision, there's ability to go from place to place. But then there's a shefa that says, the circumstance, identify how you're going to get there. That is a different circumstance. Okay, let's go inside. This Indian from Oyer Pnimi and Oyer Makiv will understand from the moshel of Oyer Shefa. The Shefa with Shefa who bedovo shu bebchinas mihus u'mitzias. Shefa is also a provider. Like we said in our course moshel, that which watches that the traffic should flow without collision. But there is a focused union that it should affect something. And it applies to something that becomes Mehus U'Mitzias, that there is a tangible presence. Ve'al Kain, being that Shefa applies to that, which is a Mehus U'Mitzias. Therefore, ha'hamshocha v'hagilui me'yitoi, the hamshocha and the gilui, the hamshocha, that which is drawn, and the gilui from itoi, from the etzem itself. Eino yerag b'bchinas oyer. The hamshocha from the etzem is not only in the aspect of oyer. It cannot be said, identified as what you have from etzem is only the oyer. In other words, the basis for existence. How then does it come from the etzem? Rak kiim shenim shemahus dover ma. A mahus dover ma, a tangible, a being of a dover ma, of something that is identifiable and definable is nimshach from atzmus. Rak, except, but this is nimshach from atzmus. How can there be a mehuz dover ma from atzmus? Atzmus is pure oil, moir. Rak, except shehu bechinas chitziniyus levav. Now this is the bechino. This is what we identify only as chitzenius, as chitzenius of the oil, as chitzenius of the earth. Chitzenius ilaba, the external. V'nikro, we'll come back to this. V'nikro gamkin ha'ora. Another term for this chitzenius is ha'ora. Ha'ora is a clear allusion, clear relation to the word oil. So what is the difference between oil and ha'ora? Let's focus in a little bit. I said, when you are in the light, in sunlight, daylight, without you being aware of it, there are two phenomena that occur. Simultaneously, without any kind of interference one with the other. On the lower level, you're able to see things. But this thing that you're able to see things, this is not the essential reality. The essential reality, as we said many times, day is a transformer of the world. It doesn't make you able to see. It makes everything visible. It removes darkness completely. You, in your experience, the chitzonius of that is that you're able to see. This is the chitzonius of this oil. No one is going to describe daylight as a time that you could see things. Because everybody senses that this is a different reality. And no one is going to say darkness, choshech, as a time that you can't see. Choshech and Noel are both divine creations from the day one, and they have their own reality. They're not definable by your experience of it. Your experience of it is called the chitzonius. This is the effect, the chitzonius. This is ha'ora of that reality. This is called ha'ora. The effect. But that's not its reality. This is only the effect of it. This which is nimshach mino atzmus in the form of yesh v'dover is only ha'ora of the oil. This is called the chitzenius of the oil. V'nikra gamke ha'ora. Look at this, ha'ora, chitzenius, ha'ora, are the same two different words alluding to the same thing. Mipnei, because chitzenius hi rag ha'ora lavad mehapnimiyus. Because the chitzenius is a ha'ora on the ha'ora from the pnimius. The pnimius is the real thing. We, in our, so to speak, impoverished awareness, intelligence, are primarily interested in the chitzonius. But it behooves us to recognize that there's a pnimius, and that's what we should really relate to, identify with. The ha'ora is the chitzonius is a ha'ora from the pnimius. The real thing is the pnimius. V'hainu, which means to say, Pnimius hi atzmis. The pnimius is atzmis. Atzmis means it is a truth in and of itself. Pnimius is atzmis. Atzmis means this is a divine reality. It has a real presence. V'achitzonius, where are the chitzonius? Eino atzmis. It's not atzmis. Chitzonius is not atzmis. Like we said in our motion. The fact that you're able to see is not an atzmi element. The fact that you cannot see is not an atzmi element. Daylight and night is an atzmi element. However, where does it come from? Here is the answer. Mikomo came yet still. He memohus hapnimius. The chitzonius is memohus ha'atzminis. It's chitzonius. The representative, and is being supported by the fact that there is a memohus of pnimius. This is why there is chitzonius. It's buttressed, and its base is the reality of the pnimius. This is the chitzonius of the body. The chitzonius is memahuz at pnimius. It speaks of the reality of the pnimius. Like we said, you can't see, or you can see. This is on chitzonius, but it's really real. It's memahuz at pnimius. It is true that in darkness you cannot see, and in light, and in daylight you could see. Except this Indian is the chitzonius of that reality. But it's memhuz apnimis. Ukmoi, as, for example, in the case, pnimis haseichel. I'm going to say a line and a half, 2 lines. Pnimis ha-seichel shehu le'atzmi. The pnimis of seichel, which is unto himself, which is essentially for the person who identified the seichel within himself, from his neshama. V'chitzonius ha-seichel, and then there's a chitzonius ha-seichel, ha-shayach el-makabel, that pertains to the makabel, which means that is something which can be provided for and can be demonstrated and alerted to a makabel. You can tell a makabel about the seichel, and if he has seichel, which hopefully he does, he will think deeply into his own seichel and find the pnimius of it. But when you are presenting it, you're presenting it to him, chitzonius. you're presenting to him the Chitzonius, you hope you don't intend that he should stay with Chitzonius. You're going to talk in circles until you make him see that this is not what you're talking about. He begins to dig into his own seichel to find what does it really mean? What is this about? This is what we said the other day. In Mashpia Makabel, there is a teaching that is being transferred. This one is teaching just listen. The most important effect of this Mashpia Makabel is that the Mashpia wants to be Mashpia and the Makabel wants to learn. Which means prior to the fact that he had learned, he has a sense that he wants to learn. If he does not have the sense that he wants to learn, then he will only be getting the Chitzonius. That's what will hit him over the head. Prove it to him. But he's not going to learn the essence of this teaching. Similarly, the Mashpia, when he teaches, he is not teaching that which is teachable. He wants to teach him that which he wants him to know. That's why he's teaching him, because he's so enticed. He sees the truth of what he wants to teach him. This is why he wants to teach him. So the want aspect over here that brings these two parts together, that is the highest of this whole thing. And if the Makabel sits back and says, okay, convince me that I have something to learn, then you have nothing to learn. Because you have not brought your seichel forward, your own seichel, the divine seichel, the pnimis of your seichel. You have not bring it forward. This is why we mentioned many times the Gemara says that Talmud Yishuv REBBE. A Talmud says in front of his rabbi, of his state teacher, of his rabbi, so he should be with such total dedication that he's totally unaware of himself. He may be doodling, what's called drooling, but not being aware of it. Not being aware of it. Because it's not the control.